Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to KritzKast. We are catching up with some lost fixtures due to the Copenhagen Games. People are back in their own homes playing their ETF2L Season 15 fixtures. We've got another Premiership game for you here tonight, whatever the time is, wherever you're watching from. And it is a Week 2 fixture, double King of the Hill. And two teams who'll be probably trying to eye up that final playoff space. Remember, the top three teams go forward to try and compete for the championship. In one corner, we have Budget Toucans back after a hiatus. Played pretty well the last time they were in the top tier, but so did their opponents, WASP, the Beasts from the East, back again. Another reform. They picks up some names from Eastern Europe to try and formulate a new WASP team to try and get into the playoffs for this season. I'm CeeJaey and I'm joined by Georgebaii and Wiethoofd on the reduction. George, man, are you excited for this game? I mean, where do you see this going?
I can see this going either way, really. Both these teams actually tied on points right now. I think at the bottom of the table right now. So everything to play for, like you said, playoff spot, chance at the title, everything's on the line right now. Two close teams. I think looks to be up for a cracker.
Absolutely. I mean, you're right. You take a look at the table right now, and the bottom two teams are these two. They've both had losses in a game, both lost maps, and they've also had golden cap losses, which net them a couple of points, but nothing too major. So they're both on 2 points at the foot of the table. So if the season was to end tonight, right now, they would be the two teams actually getting relegated down to the high tier. So probably not what they're expecting. I think this season has the potential to be one of the closest, simply because I think the skill difference between all of the teams is quite negligible. Each of these games could go either way. So I think some teams are going to be looking at their games as really massive fixtures and thinking, if we win this game, we could potentially get into the playoffs and, try to challenge for a top 3 position. But if we lose, that could mean one step closer to relegation. I don't think anyone's safe from relegation, or anyone's got a guaranteed top 3 spot. So these guys have played a game less, admittedly. So whatever the result here is tonight, that is going to change the shape of the table. And like we said, this is a Week 2 fixture because these guys were some of the players who were playing at the Copenhagen Games. Had to kind of wait until everyone was back. Budget Toucans did go as Budget Landkins, not their full roster, but quite a lot of familiar faces who got there. Did you watch the games? How did you feel Toucans fared on the offline event?
Didn't really catch much of the games myself, but seeing the standings and Toucans just missing out on that money spot for third, and I'm pretty sure they want to turn things around quickly. They want to try and get back on track with their season. Coming up against WASP with a much changed roster from what I remember them having back in their old days, but yeah, there should be definitely the motivations there to try and turn this around.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, talked about these being two kind of reforms, but they are much changed. We had WASP had the original generation of WASP players who actually are the only team, the only team to have played in every single division in TF2. Don't think there's a Sixes team that's done that either. They played in Div 6, 5, all the way up to 1. They won Divs 2-on-1, and they also then obviously participated in the Premiership for a number of seasons. They did have a kind of a combination of two teams, WASP and Unpoppable, came together. The likes of Ernier and Catman used to play for Unpoppable, and then they joined to make a sort of a Russian super team. That was the last time WASP ever played in Prem. But like you said, this team is slightly different, lots of new faces. I'm going to take a look at the Toucans roster myself to begin with and tell you what we're going to be expecting from these guys. So for them on Scout, it's going to be Silver Tosspot, one of the leaders. Soldier is going to be Chef, Pyro V-Clocks, Demo, of course, is Shaggy, Heavy Mackie, Cherno is going to be on Engineer, Princess DVS is on Medic, Proki is on Sniper, and Psycho is on Spy. Very similar to their old roster, but we are live here, George. We'll come to the WASP lineup later. WASP are in the red, Toucans in the blue. Let me know what you see on this mid-fight.
Right now I'm seeing Toucans going for a generally standard left hold right now, and it looks like WASP want to try and counter this with an aggressive hold of themselves on their right side, trying to get right in the thick of the action, really. They know they're not going to commit to it underneath hold. They actually, we got Enya hiding around there as the rest of the Toucans try to get some sort of spam onto the combo. Not really much happening right now frag-wise, it's just a general stalemate until we get some sort of cap time going on. D2 probably lining up for some sort of push here, but he's going to get rinsed up by a bit by Shaggy and has to force back off. And actually Psycho with 2 picks onto Catman and D2, that's 2 of the combo down from the side of WASP, as Toucans look to try and take advantage of this.
Yeah, that was pretty well played. Take a look at Lightclaw and DQZ, they're actually behind the Toucans. They're actually causing problems behind them. Proki does take down one of them, and there we go. Chano cleans up the other, and Vettel has also been spotted. The Uber has come out onto Skettis. Maki is so weak. He's going to try and get that sandwich out and munch on it as quickly as he can, but DVS is nice and safe. That was a really interesting mid-fight. Like you said, nothing happened. The teams kind of mirrored each other. Actually, no, the opposite of mirrored, because they both went the same side. Toucans went their left, and Wasp went their right, and they just kind of had no avenue to get damage onto each other. And it wasn't until Wasp tried to get aggressive that somebody was picked off, and that allowed Toucans to take advantage and win that mid-fight. With Enya having used his Uber, it means they're going to have to be catching up in the Uber 6. D2, oh my word, gets absolutely destroyed by Chef. Tries to jump onto Shaggy, gets air shot. Shaggy's the man to finish him off, but no demo for Wasp right now. It's all going to be on the likes of Morg to try and get a pick. He's got a sideline on Shaggy, but doesn't manage to get the kill. And DVS has absolutely no pressure on him whatsoever. He's nice and safe. V-Clocks is there ready to air blast when he gets close. DQZ tries to go for it. And like I said, no one is going to touch that man for the time being.
Yeah, DQC generally causing a lot of hassle on the left side there for Toucans. A lot of damage coming out from him, and then a failed bomb though. But what does either happen is there's been no cap time attempted here from Wasp now, and they've got to be careful not to be too complacent here with this cap time. Coming up to halfway already on the side of Toucans, and they're going to be committing now. Uber comes out early onto Toucans, so immediately onto Shaggy. A lot of flashes go the way on the side of Wasp as the rest of the team try to scramble to put position around this cap point, and eventually I think maybe Toucans have a bit of a player advantage here. We've got Tito, Catman going down suddenly. All the combo classes coming right back down now. And Psycho trying to get in behind as well, potentially onto Enya here, but eventually gets taken down by the headshot from Morg.
It's really well played there by Toucans, but they just weren't getting the frags in the DM fight afterwards. In fact, it was Proki who, you know, managed to get the collateral kill. He gets another one. He's on a 7 kill streak right now. This man is unstoppable, but Morg shows he can do exactly the same. Takes down DVS. It's the first medic frag of the day so far. Excuse me, sorry, the excitement's getting to me. Psycho now with the headshots, running the Ambassador in 2018, guys. It's still legit, still possible apparently. But Wasp decided to go for a bit of an aggro hold here. They've got plenty of time to catch up on. Toucans managing to go down to all the way down to 1 minute 12. It's nearly 2 minutes of time just from that mid-fight win. So now Wasp in control, have control of the point, have control of the forward hold. And they also have control of the Uber as they are at 100%. DVS only at 50, but Proki getting around, getting the angle, taking down Catman. And it does look like Wasp going to try and go around behind. They're trying to go for a wraparound. They use the Uber onto Skettis and Detoad. There's so much damage going down. V-Clocks is down, so there's not going to be any pyro denial from him. So much damage. DQZ is going to take down Shaggy. Huge frag. Princess DVS is safe though. Got escorted out to the spawn. And that means he is going to have Uber in a few seconds' time. And just look at the time there, George. Wasp managing to take off so much time, pretty much only about 30 seconds behind Toucans now.
Yeah, masterclass rotation play coming out there from Wasp there. You know, baiting the right side, trying to get all the gamers onto the left side, and then the instant Uber advantage coming through. And actually, an Uber out from Toucans now trying to scramble to this point. A lot of flashes coming out from DBS, and a nice headshot from Morg onto, I think it was Tosspot there, as he tries to clean up Chef as well on the back line. He's going to surf around and try and juke around while Toucans trying to scramble some sort of cap time. But the solid behind from DQZ is going to get DBS as a med down for the side of the Toucans. But they're still going to try and commit to this point. A lot of players down on the side of Wasp, and I think they should be able to get this cap here, CeeJaey.
They should. Oh no, that's a rookie mistake. They cap it when there's only 2 seconds left on the medic spawn. And that means Proki, DVS and Maki have to wait another 7 seconds. Their spawn went from 2 seconds to 9 seconds. All they need to do was wait on the cap a little bit, and then they would have got their respawns much quicker. And that's going to give an opening for Wasp for an Uber advantage for them, as Enya hasn't died again. And I think Wasp's going to be able to capture this for free. But no, Proki! Oh my god, this man is insane! Gets the collateral kill onto Enya, medic down, takes down another few players. Psycho's also getting into the headshots. DVS doesn't have much for company though, it's just Shaggy and Chef. DQ's is behind. I don't think anyone's aware. He gets one rocket, but Shaggy's there to protect this man. He's doing all the work right now, just trying to keep his medic alive. DVS actually takes it into his own hands. gets the crossbow out to finish off the soldier. So they do give up the cap, but I think in the end they're going to be very pleased with that fight. They have an uber advantage now, and there isn't much kind of resistance here from WASP. Catman is trying to hide underneath the balcony, maybe trying to catch somebody out. Hasn't been spotted just yet, but this is a very, very close round. Does look like Toucans are going to come and try to go from the opposite side. Get some free cap time. They do spot Catman. He's going to get cleaned up there by Silver Toss Bomb. Shaggy goes down to Dito. That's a lot of the damage potential out of the way for this Uber. It means Silver Toss Bomb. Viethoofd have to take it onto their shoulders to do something, and they're going to have to just consolidate on the point, regroup, and just take the cap and prepare for this Uber coming in. But DQZ takes down Broke. He doesn't quite get DVS, but that is Sniper down.
Yeah, Sniper down for the side of Toucans, as WASP try and come for this, commit to this repush here. 27 seconds left on their time, so Toucans in a very risky position here. If they need to commit now, it's now or never, really. It's WASP with the cap now, as Toucans try to scramble their respawns in and try and get some sort of dry push going onto the right side here. But the rest of the WASP are stacked up on the right side with a significant Uber advantage, so they can probably block this point easily with the Uber. Looks like they're stacking up on the right side here. They've got to be careful not to get too damaged here, but eventually the Uber does come out. It's going to try and deny this full position, but the denial from Viethoofd's actually getting a lot of time off on the side of Toucans, so they try to recap this when the Uber comes out on the side of Toucans as well on the Shaggy. But still no cap time actually, it's still overtime. They've got to be careful to try and cap this out. And now they're going to try and set this up and get this overtime, so it's now WASP on the receiving end trying to get some sort of dry push going.
That was really well executed by Toucans. I was very impressed. Managed to time that just perfectly, and WASP, like you said, have to go for the dry push. Now DQZ jumps, he gets a lot of damage onto him. Dito's trying to get onto the point, but so much damage, but actually they are starting to win this fight. Both medics go down, it's just going to be a DM fest to the death, and actually WASP are walking onto the point, there's nobody left to contest them, and somehow they just walk through, take it, the double overtime round to kick us off here tonight. But that was, I don't know, I felt Toucans with their Ubers. They were chasing frags that they didn't need to chase. Rather, they just let the stuff behind them. DVS has been in a really good position most of the time, but I felt he's getting baited because his team are chasing frags that aren't there, rather than killing the danger that's kind of on top of them or behind them. So maybe that's something they need to work on. WASP just winning the DM there to win the first round. We're onto a second mid-fight. And it is Shaggy getting very early, getting a lot of good damage down, but it's WASP getting the early frag. Chef's jumped in from behind, and he's going to be a bit of a distraction to the Eastern Europeans as they try to take their way forward. Clanman is going to be the one to take most of the damage, try and make some space, but slowly but surely the flank from behind is starting to kill some players for WASP. Oh my days. Where did he come from there, Joe? I totally missed that.
He wrapped around the entire left side, went through the lobby, and then jumped from behind the Toucans. Excellent play from him. It's still in the Spitfire actually. That one time made it to cap yet.
Oh, Shaggy!
Stuck behind.
Big force from Shaggy there. Sorry to interrupt. He just launched it in. That was a classic Shaggy play. First we've seen so far today. He just kind of launched himself in there and got so much damage onto the combo and the medic that Enia had to use his Uber, and they do eventually. That was a long ass mid fight, but in the end WASP are the ones to win it, but at quite a cost. No Uber advantage from them anymore. It's about 20%, which is negligible really in Highlander. DVS quickly catching up, and now Toucans are going to try and have to break this hold.
Yeah, WASP here more than willing to make a more passive hold as compared to before, when earlier forward hold. So Toucans now trying to get some sort of ground onto this point now. Mackie's going to be leading this charge with the Piston Steel, just genuinely spamming, absorbing the damage and taking the cap now. Chef's going to try jumping onto Clark on the right side, just misses the air shot though, as he's going to get pick up the center and the flank as the rest of the WASP try to push in, but the cap comes out from the side of the Toucans, so he looks to try and compensate this with this a slight Uber disadvantage actually on the side of Toucans. So gotta be careful not to get caught out by Enia's Uber, but Dito gets picked off by Chef on the huge jump from Chef there. Good stuff from him.
Catman's starting to sneak up. He takes that one. He takes up two. He gets the drop under DVS. Oh my days, that is a classic Catman play. He actually takes 3 players down there. Oh my word, Tomislav is silent when you rev it up, but seriously, does no one realise there is a giant fat Russian man underneath you? That is one for the frag movie that he will inevitably make, but yeah, that is the first drop of the day, I guess. And it comes from the heavy of all people, and WASP off the back of that managed to capture the point and retain a huge Uber advantage. Enia just sitting there with 100%, and Morg does go down, and that's going to be a... See, that's the thing, you use your sniper and you're going to get the force. Catman comes in again, he's just walking underneath, there's nobody looking underground. People, come on.
You don't need a spy when you have a Catman on your team. This is just insane, like how he gets these sneak plays onto the Toucans right now. And now Toucan's going to be, I think, on the receiving end. A huge minute advantage now for WASP as he looks to try and compensate and build their Uber.
I was just about to say how well Toucans were doing. They take down the sniper, they're getting the free cap time, they get the force, they back off into a good position, but somehow they let Catman just walk in from underneath and get another medic pick. And it's been devastating, it really has. Like you said, they're over a minute behind. It's going to take some big plays and some strongholds from Toucans to get back into this round. Proki starts things off by taking it down the sentry. Wasp are all kind of stuck in one place here. Chef could go for a bit of a bomb. He's moving in now. Gets a rocket onto Morg. He's going to be focusing that sniper. He does take him down. It is going to cost him his life, but that is a big opening. Gives Proki so much space and time now. And Toucans are going to capture the point just before Enya actually gets his Uber. And as long as DPS is in a good position here, they can kite this and do something. But Enya drops! There's another drop. Proki! This man is starting to turn things on. Takes down the medic. DBS with 100% Uber advantage. Vettel is on the medic and actually forces him. These medics are not being protected. Cherno is on the cleanup crew. Takes down both Catman and D2. That's the entire combo from that man there. And Wasp cap it again for free, George. What is going on here?
I have no idea. Like, all these random caps coming in and the random pushes from Catman and the bombs. It's just absolute carnage right now. But Wasp are looking to try and seal this round with this huge time advantage right now. Toucans really not being able to get on the cap as much as Wasp are, in the sense, really. Just seem to like lose their advantage most of the times, and now trying to get to ground for this last cap. And actually Clark with the cleanup on the DDS with the shotgun. What is this? And then the headshot from Morg as well to Cernum. 3 players up now for the side of Toucans coming into the dying seconds. This should be a round for Wasp.
It just seems that these fights are just not being kind of clean. They're very, very chaotic. And because of that, it's coming into a DM battle, and it's being a very, very odd DM battle. And in that chaos, Wasp are excelling. They're just cleaning up the right players. I doubt there's very much focus calls. It's just fighting. And yeah, Wasp are just taking the upper hand of it at the moment, and that's the problem. When you have a chaotic fight, it's very difficult to make sure it goes in your own way. You're gambling very, very hard. And Toucans, they don't want to gamble. Their strats have been pretty decent so far. And at the moment, they're just playing with fire as Wiethoofd gets some good stickies down early on onto Shaggy. Maki is the first casualty though. Morg takes him down. Take a look at Lightclaw. He's already getting aggressive. DQZ starting to move underneath. The flank from Wasp are doing very well. And actually getting behind and causing some problems. But Catman is getting killed here. He takes down one and then finally gets finished off. Lots of damage, and the Toucans are 4 down at the moment. Shaggy's going to get finished off. So DPS gets juggled. That is so unfortunate. There is DQZ juggling him in from behind. And at the moment, I think Toucans are just struggling to deal with the Wasp flank.
Yeah, the Wasp flank causing absolute carnage on the left side, while the rest of the Toucans try to fight the combat, but they just get instantly and just get juggled out. Like, all the frags end up going Wasp's way, and they get the cap advantage because of it. So now Toucans, again on the receiving end, looking to try and recap this. They're going to be gripping up on this right side, it seems. DQZ already there, trying to call out for his team and get some general damage himself. And now Lightclaw's probably going to commit underneath as well. And the Uber actually comes out from Enya onto Wiethoofd. Not many rush gamers in there right now, but again, the cleanup comes in, I think. Vettel getting a pick as well as DQZ. And now it's a heavy down on the side of the Toucans. They have a huge Uber advantage though, so if DPS can manage to get out, it can probably savour it for the next point. But yeah, hectic stuff. Hectic stuff.
It is hectic. That is exactly the word for it. It's non-stop. And it's very difficult to see which way the fights are going to go, but Wasp in the lead again in the time, just ticked off 1 minute off the clock. Toucans yet to cap the point in this third round. Let's not forget they had a very strong start in that first round. They do lose a couple of more players here. They are 2 rounds down as well. Enya protecting himself with the Uber Saw, taking down Psycho the Spy. The Uber is used by DPS onto Shaggy, but Shaggy's got no one to shoot and no one in support. DPS is going to try and get away. I think he will actually manage to do it. Clark's the one on the chase. Clark with the shotgun. Is he actually going to get the medic? He's rotating. Oh, he's giving him the wiggle. Finally goes down. Vettel is going to be the one to sandwich him. But Psycho takes down Clark with the headshot. But that's worked out well again for Wasp, because hey, if you're just having a chaotic fight and everyone's losing 4 or 5 players every fight, it's very hard to group up and capture the point without resistance, and that's just playing into the hands of WASP at the moment. Catman getting very far forward. He's covered in milk. He does not care. He's going to walk forward, try to gun some more players down. He's been definitely a big influence on this game so far. And Ernier with the uber advantage. I'm struggling to find a way Toucans can get back into this game.
Yeah, me too. Wasps seem to be countering them and sort of stepping away, but early heavy pick by Psycho is probably going to open up some sort of avenue for Toucans to make some sort of push in. And actually, a few players, other players coming down on the side of Wasp, as the rest of Toucans up to try and push forward with this. Full 9 players up on their side. They need to start getting this cap time though. They got to commit much a lot sooner, especially with the picks they're getting.
Yeah, Vettel did get the backstab though early on onto DVS, so DVS is already building the Uber. It's used by Ernier. But I mean, if you lose your medic, that does mean you're going to be behind in the Uber stakes, of course, but it also means you're going to have no heals. But Wasp getting cleaned up here. Brokey there, getting a med pick for his dog. First time Ernier has died for a while now. Shaggy finishing off Catman, so those are the important players out of the picture. And they're going to be in the respawn queue for another few seconds. Toucans finally captured the point in this third round. They've got a long way to go, though. Only 20 seconds for Wasp before they seal out this map. But Toucans are doing alright so far. Brokey really far forward, getting some kills. And they're getting some good damage down, and this is what they need. They need an aggressive hold. They need to make sure there's no space for Wasp to do anything. And Psycho, who's been doing well so far. 4 kill streak for him at the moment. He takes down Detoes. That's a lot of pressure out of the way. And actually, Silver Tospo is him behind. He's not actually getting much frags. He's going to maybe kill Karki. He does. But he was just causing so much of a distraction. It's been hard for anyone to get the space. But hey, you know what, George? When you got someone like Morg on your team, when he's unpressured, he's just going to click on your head, and that's not going to end well for you. The Uber does come in. Oh, Shaggy, nice pipes. And that's actually pretty good for Toucans at the moment.
They did lose a lot of games in that exchange, though. They're down to like 5 players, including Respawn, so Wasp with a huge avenue here to try and retake this point. Shaggy's going to be caught out as well. He's going to try and escape now, but the pipe's just about missing him. He might just be lucky enough to survive on 7 HP, but it depends if another gamer tries to walk in and clean him up. Doesn't look like it. Oh, maybe Clark might spot him. Nah, too late. And Wasp again recap this. 10 seconds left. Dry push or never now for Toucans.
I mean, Toucans were having such a good period of play there. You know, they took off a minute, and then they just kind of feed a bunch of plays. They're jumping on the point now, and DJ, that sticky's ready. Oh my days. That is going to be some meaty damage for his logs. 2 kills with the stickies, and then he pipes down another. And that is going to be GG for our first map. 3-0 to Wasp. Not what I was expecting, especially after kind of the first 60 seconds of play. But it just seemed that Wasp winning the DM battles when it counted, and Toucans kind of making mistakes where they shouldn't. Like I said, that last round there, they had a nice hold on the point. They killed Ernier. All they needed to do was play around their medic, make sure he didn't get picked off, make sure they didn't feed kills, and then suddenly people are taking 1v1s and walking forward and trying to take space when you don't need to take space. And in the end, Wasp just managed to kind of battle on through. And yeah, I mean, pretty comfortable for them in the end.
Yeah, despite the absolute carnage that was going on screen for like the past few minutes, but Wasp managing to counter Toucans every step of the way. I think maybe looking at the logs might give us more of a hint of how things went.
Absolutely, and the first thing that stands out for me, I always rank by kills first off, just to see who had the biggest game or whatever. And the first 4 are all Wasp players, and it tells you the story. You got Lightclaw and DQZ, 23 and 22 kills apiece. And they didn't die much either. I mean, a soldier not dying much, compared to the rest of his team, it makes you wonder. But Lightclaw and DQZ were getting behind. They were causing problems. Getting behind and just kind of hassling. Either they were getting kills or they were just bringing the attention away from the point. Obviously, in King of the Hill, you want to focus at that central point. You want to get the cap time. You want to control it. You want to defend it. And if there's 2 players behind you, picking you off one by one, it's very difficult for you. Morg had a decent game, 21 kills, just 5 ahead of Proki, who I also felt had a good game, but there was about 1.5k difference in the damage then. Detoed as well, 19 kills for him, another player to get over a kill a minute. So pretty dominating from those players. Are there any players that kind of stand out for you in the stats there?
I think definitely the flank, as you pointed out, were very good at like causing havoc on the flank even, just taking that attention away from the combo. And I think it allowed Wasp to give them avenue to capitalise on these pushes. That's why we saw them like managing to bring the Toucans down to very low numbers during the fight, and it just like worked in their favour.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, The problem I saw with the Toucans pushes was that they would win a fight on the point and they were chasing frags at the wrong opportunities, and then they were feeding. And if you capture the point and you win the fight, you kill a couple of people, and then you chase forward, but you lose your scout, you lose your demo or your pyro, whatever. If you lose a few players, then when those players respawn, it takes them longer to respawn due to the fact that you're in control of the point. So when you control the point, it's almost like you're, on defense on steel. You don't want to feed because the enemy team's going to respawn much faster than you. And it seems Toucans kept doing that and giving the opportunity to WASP to come in and just DM it. I felt Toucans had a decent strategy, but they were failing in that last kind of final push, that last 10%. And that chaos that came out meant the likes of Lightclaw, DQZ, Morg could just excel in that chaos. Catman, going 16 for 16, I mean, he made a couple of big plays there. Getting a drop on the medic is no mean feat for a heavy. But, I mean, when you take a look at the medics in particular, only dying 5 times. In comparison to DVS's 12. Now, I felt DVS was playing really well in that first round. He was getting out at the right times. He was in a good position. But the problem was, if your team are falling around you because they're feeding at the wrong time, then it's very hard for you to stay alive because you've got no one to protect you. So I think that's another thing that has to be highlighted. But hey, Product is another King of the Hill map, George, but it is a different one, and it's one everybody knows. There's not really an excuse to kind of say you're not ready for Product.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to go straight in. We won't even get much time to analyse this. Both teams eager to get going with this, so I'm going to be looking at Shaggy for this rollout, actually.
Yeah, who do you feel is going to be the one on Toucans to really shine on this map?
Shaggy, no doubt. He loves to get big damage numbers on any map he plays, really, and Viaduct is one of his favourite maps, I think.
Taking a look now at the mid-fight, and the first kill is going to be D-Toad. It's taken down from Proki, and then DQZ gets reflected by V-Clocks. Getting my tongue twisted there. Enya is kind of stranded, doesn't want to walk into the cyber sightline. He is in fact running Uber, but there is crits on DVS, and DVS is at 95%. You were talking about that man Shaggy. He does have 100% crits ready. They are covered in P right now. But it's going to be interesting how they're going to play this, as Enya is not in sight, and he's going to get 100% Uber charge. I think he's going to make himself invincible at will, so they're going to have to try and catch him out, or at least get a decent trade out of this, George, as Wasp is looking to push on this far side.
Yeah, Uber comes out on the side of Wasp just as a Virtue has popped the crits. They still trying to probably chase it down DVS, and again, DPS just about duking Lightclaw as well, so just about gets out there on about 100 HP. But the rest of the Wasp looking to try and capitalise on this cap time, despite the numbers' disadvantage. So she should be looking to pop this right now. It's been taking quite longer. Very close to that.
Iron Bomber is a thing in this game, and those pipes flung over, take down DVS. He's going to be in the respawn queue for 5 seconds. And I was going to say that wasn't the best thing there coming out from Toucans. They had a good mid-fight. If they were running Uber, then they would have been absolutely perfect. They would have been golden. They could have just chilled out. But the fact they had crits meant they had to use it and hope they caught Enya out, or at least pick some kills elsewhere. And DPS getting picked off means that they are going to be really far behind in the cases of Uber now. DVS is running Medigun now, and Proki takes down Morg. That's going to be a big opening. And you can see Shaggy wants to take this forward. He wants to get some pressure onto Wasp. Starts taking the rock already, gets Proki into position. Maki is getting some gap time as well. Lots of damage being put down. Enya does have the Uber if he wants to use it, uses it on D-Toad. They are getting aggressive. Shaggy tries to get away, but no D-Toad pipes. They catch out DVS. And they're going to pick off some other players. They are losing Lightclaw and Sketties and Clark, but I don't think they're going to mind too much. They pick up 3, and it's going to be an easy hold here for Wasp. They're going to take the lead in the time.
Yeah, once again, the DM advantage coming out of Wasp, but although they seem to be ended up on 4 gamers suddenly right now, a lot of players going down in that late exchange, and Toucans should be taking advantage of this right now, getting this quick cap. Going to have Chef go down to Lightclaw on the flank there, as the general mini-sentry spam is going to deny any sort of flank presence there. And the point's now in the possession of Toucans to try and gain some time back on this disadvantage. But it's slightly advantage now on the side of Enya, as the rest of the Wasp trying to strategize and come up with the next push. We've got Catman up on the right side denying any sort of Toucan aggression. More playing a lower position than I normally like to see him play in, but it might catch him out, put a brief sight onto the DBS as well. And he actually gets speed clocks and probably will transition up to China now.
Yeah, they get so much free cap time and so much free ground. I'm not really understanding when your sniper's alive and your demo's alive. you shouldn't allow them to get that aggressive and just kind of take that ground for free, which is what they do. Wiethoofd there with the Iron Bomber Pikes. He's on a 5 kill streak, takes down Proki. And yeah, somehow they just capture the point, but DBS does have Uber here, so expecting to see him Ubering maybe a Shaggy push coming in right now. Vglox is waiting, but no, Shaggy gets domed just as he tries to drop off from the cliff. And that's going to totally stop any sort of aggression coming in from Toucans. Proki also goes down to Morg. Morg is popping off on this map right now. And Toucans are finding it very difficult to walk forward as Deto's just got so much space, George.
Yeah, too much space for Deto's to get all this damage in, and then Morg as well, you know, going to being on fire. And as the Toucans now look to come on the left side right now, probably trying to lead on the combo, and Shaggy's going to make Ania use the Uber here as the Toucans trying to cap this point. But it's not going to work out if they get enough space, and now WASP have the advantage once again with the Ubers. You got Chef jumping in on the left side trying to get the purchase in, but Deto pipes with indefinitely. That's going to be a soldier down. But Proki now trying to get a headshot onto Deto's and get some more frags perhaps to make more space for his team. Got Vettel on the back lines trying to get in now. As Tosspot actually gets Ania as a med down for the side of WASP coming in.
Yeah, this was a bit of a misplay, I think, from WASP. They were too many players down, and they were trying to get too aggressive. They'd enjoyed all of this free space, and then they did it when they were, you know, 3-4 players down, and that's allowed Tosspot to just walk forward and pick up that med frag. But during that chaos, DVS also went down. He does have a bit of an Uber advantage, though. The spawn times have been favourable to him. So he is going to have about 20%. He's still running that medigun now. Maybe the Kritz plan has gone out the window. And Toucans have a lot to catch up, then over a minute to go as they are behind. And look, again, just so much space. Deto's just walking onto the point uncontested, throwing those pipes, throwing those stickies over. And Toucans just run away onto the cliff and playing really passive. I don't know whether they think they have a big of a disadvantage than they do, or they're just kind of worried about dropping players. I have no idea, but they have to contest now. 2 seconds to go.
Yeah, Toucans had a habit of giving WASP way too much respect, I think, on these holds. They just give them the free space and they don't have any cap time to back up for it. So in the end, they're just like stuck in the corner trying to push their way out, and it just gets cost them in the end because they get all killed. But yeah, the first round going to WASP right now.
It does indeed, and WASP just seem to be showing no fear, and Toucans giving them, like you said, too much respect. I mean, here we go on to the next mid-fight. Shaggy trying to get there early, throwing some stickies over, but both demos not really doing much. DQZ is all the way behind.
Goodness, Morg. Immediately onto Shaggy. And onto Zerner as well. Morg is popping off as he does. Maybe a slight frag advantage onto the way Toucans, but they're going to be passive now. They don't want to give DBS any sort of ground right now. As WASP trying to take position there. Morg has another sight line onto DBS. If he peeks up, might get this. But actually see face up Porky though, he's going to have to back off right now, surely. WASP don't have the positional advantage right now, and it actually is crits on the side of Toucans. They're going to play this crit strategy once again.
Yeah, they are going to get it just now, but no, DBS! DQZ with the rocket just as DBS ticks over to 100%. That is heartbreaking. I mean, popping it wouldn't have saved him, because it was the crits like you said, but it's cost a lot of players from both teams this fight. Ania does have 100% Uber charge already, but Psycho's lurking, he's in position, maybe trying to go for one of these players, create an opening for his team. He does uncloak now. I'm going to see what he goes for. He decides to go for the sniper. Morg down, he has been doing a lot of work. So that should be the opening, George, for Toucans to just walk forward now. They should just get all the way in.
Yeah, Psycho really wanted that trickster down. See him jumping twice on the hill and trying to get that pick onto Enia, but doesn't quite work out as the rest of Toucan's going to take this free space now that WASP did. And the frag is well going away, but eventually the Uber comes out onto Enia, onto Skeetus, and eventually it's going to be walking forwards Maki there to deny any sort of pyro aggression as Toucans will get this cap. The rest of WASP looking to regroup with their heals now with this Uber disadvantage right now. And the sniper goes down from the side of Psycho, so he's probably hungry for more and maybe going for a pick onto Enia perhaps.
Toucans need to now think, okay, we have an Uber advantage, we do not give up this point for free. As long as DVS survives, it doesn't matter. And actually DVS gets hit by that Christmas ball, I don't know what it's called, but it does a lot of damage, a lot of bleed damage. Sandwich actually stops the bleeding, remember that for real life, guys. But Proki does get down to DQZ. Shaggy, look at Shaggy, he wants to go forward, he wants to be aggressive. He does take the Uber in, the Catman is surely going to die here, but Enia is all the way out. He is going to be safe. Maki gets backstabbed in the course of this push, but that's more what we want to see from Toucans. Taking these heals aggressive. Vettel's on the point and he gets the backstab on the DVS. That is so unfortunate for him, but that is huge for WASP. As they are getting aggressive now, and they are picking. He's got DQZ, he's just launched himself across the point. and he's not died, he's not got any kills, but he's created space for his team, and he's getting cap time, and that's the problem. That's not what Toucans are doing. That's the first sign of aggression we've had, and like we said, using that medic is unfortunate, but that's what we want to see if they want to get back into the game.
Yeah, they need to be more consistent in their aggression there. If they keep doing that strat, they should have had more of a chance for it, really, but it's just giving them too much space. DQZ already causing havoc on this China area, trying to get general damage out, as the rest of the Toucans try to push up on this left side. Meanwhile, they've got a spy down on the side of Toucans briefly, but until he's respawned. As Toucans trying to make some sort of space to get past that sort of barrier between choke and onto the point itself, but WASP just giving them no space with a super advantage.
Yeah, WASP just kind of doing this forward hold, and they've bought so much time from it that they're actually in the lead. And they're still aggressive. NEA is actually sort of on the point, at the furthest possible point, hiding from the sniper, but he's getting the heals forward, and they're denying any sort of space. And Toucans know if they get too aggressive at the wrong time, they're just going to get Ubered on, and it's not going to end well for them. Sketty is actually surviving there. Nice arrow from NEA to keep him alive, and now Shaggy is alive. He's walking forward with this Uber, gets some good damage down, gets the force. Has to be a lot of flashes coming out from WASP, and Wiethoofd comes in just at the right time. This is well played by Toucans, and now they have to fight the post-Uber fight. They're getting aggressive. Wiethoofd takes down 3. Catman and NEA are down. They lose Shaggy for it, but they should be able to control this cap now. They have Maki on the cliff. It's just Tosspot actually holding on the point. With Proki alive, they should be able to hold on to it a little bit more, and that's a much better exchange.
Yeah, the exchange there for Toucans and going balls deep, really buying them some crucial time they need to try and get back into this game, and indeed this whole match in general. Proki's also going to pick up the Lightcore on the flank as well, and we'll nearly get the shot onto Maki on the flank as well. And DQZ goes down. We've got Psycho declaking behind, getting onto NEA. He gets Catman instead. He might try to go for NEA now, but he's going to have to back off and die. Heavy down.
That's a big pick though, yeah, it's a big pick, because you take a look what that means to Toucans. They've now taken that as, okay, now we can move forward. There's a lot of HP out of the fight. We can walk forward and, control this area here on the point. Less than a minute for them to go before they get their first round in this tie. Remember, it was a 3-0 on Coalplant. And WASP currently in the lead here, looking strong, but Toucans, bit of a revival coming back here. And Uber is used very early by WASP. It's going to be a decent exchange actually from both sides, but Wiethoofd is the first to die, with Catman getting revenge there, and WASP just in control of this area. They're getting cap time as Catman does get domed by Proki, and it's just chaos here, but it does look like WASP are the team that is bleeding the most players. They've captured the point, but at what cost, George?
Yeah, what cost? WASP, yeah, a lot of players going down the side of WASP and trying to get that cap, and Porky's is popping off right now. 4 kills already in that exchange as well, and he's probably not hunting for more. He just nearly gets a headshot onto Clark as well, as the rest of the WASP try to save the situation, but they have so many players down, and the respawns are only just coming in. It's surely going to have to back off from here, but it looks like they're trying to keep committed to this push. A lot of the players push position on the right side. The Psycho decloaking behind again, he's going to get spotted out by Cap, and actually gets NEA as a red down on WASP. Coming down to 5 seconds, it should be around for Toucans.
There is no heals for WASP now, and there's an Uber for Toucans. They take Wiethoofd in, and they're just going to use it on the point to kill anyone who decides to try and touch it. Clark is the last person there, and in the end it is going to go. And finally Toucans get a round on the board, tying up this second map 1-1.
We got a game.
Much better. We got a game here, boys. We got a game. And that was much better, George. Like the kind of the aggression coming out of them was much better, much more what you want to see on a King of the Hill map, and they're probably going to be feeling the confidence now heading into this third round.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Porky popping up as well, getting the 6k actually on that last bit of time, and again instantly on Shaggy, that's a demo man down for the side of the Toucans, and that just reduced so much options for them. It's like Shaggy's like their key player, and Mackie goes down as well. That's 0 combo now for the side of the Toucans. It's just DBS alive, and he's forced to back off.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. They've kind of losing a demo dad in the fight. It doesn't give you much options, to be fair. So it's probably a wise decision. The big issue I have right now is that DBS is running the crits to mid again, and they have about 5 seconds to use this crits before any is going to get his Uber, and I don't think it's going to be surprising. In comes the crits, he takes that Morg, so that's something. The second one comes over, it's going to be reflected by Sketches, and the counter Uber comes in. Wiethoofd is going to do the best he can to try and actually, oh, but no! That last crit sticky from Shaggy! It takes down NEA, and then Toucans are just going to walk over. They've won this fight! There's 2 players left alive. One of them's Lycor. He will surely get finished off here. And that was absolutely crazy. That final sticky from Shaggy takes down Enia. Vclox did a great job in keeping his team protected from the Uber. Wasp used it on about 4 different players, and that was just brilliantly played by the Toucans. And now they're in control of this mid fight. Morg goes down to top spot, and wow, they're starting to pick up frags here, George. They look like they're ready. They do lose DVS though. That's not good, but they're picking up enough frags to kind of take the lead in the time here at least.
Yeah, the key thing from that last push was that Porky managed to pick up D-Toad really early in the fight, so it just opened up a lot more space for Toucans to take advantage in. And meantime, Psycho's trying to get into Enia, but he gets picked up by Clark. Meanwhile, the rest of the team, Wasp, actually looking to walk forwards in a sight, actually, of a... Yeah, definitely an Uber advantage on the side of Wasp. They're looking to try and get this cap back, because Toucans right now playing a bit more passive than they should have, really. A lot of players now on the side, on the point for Wasp. Vclox just walk in on the Catman and kill him off, as the rest of the Wasp trying to finish off this cap, but Shaggy's trying to have none of it. Eventually they do get the cap, and it's quite disparity in numbers right now. Toucans with a lot more players, but there's a significant Uber disadvantage, and Morg's to get a pick onto top spot on the flank as well, opening some more space.
Yeah, that's actually really, really well played by Toucans. This is what they need to do when Wasp tries to get this free cap time and just walk forward. Fight it. Everyone except your medic, just fight the point. And every frag you get, it means that their respawns are going to be longer afterwards. And here they come now. They're trying to get some more cap time. And Proki there, it gives him so much space, gets the headshot onto D-Toad. Maki loses the 1v1 versus Lightclaw. He's going to go back and try to get some cap time now.
Morg headshot onto DBS.
Oh my days. Manages to take down Shaggy and DVS. I mean, Morg is the man who's getting the right picks at the right time at the moment, and I feel he's the guy who's actually keeping Wasp in these rounds for the time being, because Toucans are starting to look the team more in control.
Yeah, indeed. Morg really a stopping power for Wasp right now, trying to deny Toucans. A big bomb actually coming in from Shaggy onto Enia. Doesn't quite get the purchase into him. Gets one sticky. As the rest of the Toucans try to pull the ball forwards. Morg with another kill onto Chef. He's really going ham right now. I think both snipers, has to be said, are having a show in this map. We've got Psycho setting up behind, trying to get maybe a pick onto Catman right now. Indeed, he gets it. He's trying to get onto Enia as well, but D-Toad gets killed off. As Vclox just trying to forces the Uber actually on Enia as the rest of the Wasp push forwards. And there's only like 5 gamers up and 3 in this point with the respawns coming.
Yeah, they're going to actually have to use this Uber to get away. And Enia is all alone in no man's land. Proki managing to take down D-Toad just at the end of that Uber, and that does mean that Toucans captured a point with an Uber advantage now. DVS at 90%, and Enia, having just used it there, kind of didn't really have much of a choice, but in an Uber that basically achieved nothing. So he's at 30%, he's going to have to try and catch up here. They have to make some plays onto DVS, or at least wait for their charge. There's not much time for them to wait. They don't have that much of a lead in the time stakes. They're starting to walk forward now. Morg goes down to Psycho. Psycho's starting to get some big picks into this game. And he's still lurking behind, ready to make a move perhaps. Although Vettel responds in kind, takes down Proki, so no snipers for the time being. And I think Wasp, I don't know, they're coming, they're just waiting a cap, I guess, taken down by Psycho. Psycho's starting to get the picks, man. And Wasp trying to get this free cap time that they've been doing. Shaggy gets picked off by Clark. That's not good at all. And they do actually get the cap and force Uber. That's probably the wrong way around. You'd want that to happen, George. You'd want to use your Uber to defend the point at least.
Yeah, especially with the time difference right now. Coming into key stages of the game now, as Wasp with a huge Uber going to come in now. Max is trying to dig around this, is still not going to work out. Catman picks him off. And actually the engineer mostly trying to take the most of that Uber as the rest of Wasp push forward with 40 seconds left of the time, and they're probably looking to choke them out and get this forward hold in onto the left side. But Catman's going to get taken up by the pipes of Shaggy, so it opens up space on the right side for the left side for Chef to come in and try and get some more damage in onto the back players. And the Spy, Psycho trying to come in, actually gets arrowed by Enia as the Wasp look to try and hold the space and get the second round.
As well played by Shaggy. He was in a sorry, not Shaggy, by Chef. He was in a decent position and just kind of brought the attention onto himself, and that allowed his team to kind of walk in here. They've taken out Sketch and Lightclaw, so they're opening some doors. Clark also goes down. Uber is used by DPS, trying to get Maki and Shaggy in here. But Enia is so close, 97%. All he needs to do is use the Uber and they can block the point. They've only got 4 players alive, but so the Toucans. DPS is going to get taken down by Catman, and in the end it is going to be Wasp to take third round. 2-1 to the good for the time being. One more round from them and they're going to take the full 6 points here, George, and I'd say that will be a massive step for them trying to even get to playoffs.
Yeah, indeed, points means prizes in any context, and WASP really wanting to get this playoffs drive, it seems. And Deto's going to come out fast on this rollout and launch nearly past the boulder actually. Shaky surviving a bit longer for once, not getting insta-picked by more like the last times. So it's just going to be your general mid-fight right now. A big bomb in, I think, from Chef coming in, and Pokey's going to control first by getting onto Catman as well as the backstab from Psycho. So 2 players down, but 3 players even from the side of us down, as the rest of the Toucans just look to walk forwards.
Yeah, they're just trying to make some space. They do get the cap, and again they're running with this. Oh, actually, no, I take that back. Which has been building really well. They've actually run the minigun to the mid fight this time, so no crit shenanigans. DVS getting a frag for his logs, taking down the spy, actually dominating the spy.
Yeah,
always a good feeling.
Died really late in that fight as well from Tosspot, so that's going to be no heals for the side of WASP right now.
Wow, yeah, that's going to be a huge. Okay, I was going to say a huge advantage, but D-Toad actually gets the kill onto DVS. Wow, big play, big pick. I mean, it's costing nearly their entire team, but getting the pick and nearly the cap. Morg is actually going to die really late there. Probably shouldn't be that far forward without the support from his team. But Vettel is going to be the guy to get the cap now. And yeah, with the Uber advantage. Toucans are going to probably capture this again for free, but they're going to have to play without heals until DVS joins the rest of them. And with an Uber disadvantage, they'll be careful of these Russians getting forward. Sketches takes down Psycho. Big bomb in from DQZ. Shaggy is very weak. Vettel comes in from behind. And this is a bit of a meat grinder right now. And for some reason, Wasps are the one feeding it. And they've just kind of given away the cap. Sketches is starting to come forward. He's going to die. And I don't know why they're doing this when they have an Uber advantage here, Georgebaii, but for some reason they feel that they need to get onto the cap right now.
Yeah, I mean, in general, lots of time to play with again, but like Morg making space onto Tosspot. Tosspot's having not the best times against Morg, I have to say. Getting headshot by a lot of times. What's going to pop this Uber onto Dito right now? Mackie's trying to take the front of the damage, just juking around Dito. Eventually, the bottle having some sort of play into it, but it's the roller that cleans him up. As Wasps are going to look to take this point, with despite an Uber now on the side, actually maybe looking to commit to this with Shaggy and the Uber, and they do, but the cap's already gone.
Cap's already gone, and they're just kind of. They should be using these Ubers to block the cap and buy some more time, but instead they're letting the cap go down and they're trying to capture it after these Uber fights. I mean, it's kind of going okay for them at the moment, but they have to be careful that they don't give away at the point too easily here. But they're picking up frags now. Vclox with a nice reflect there. Mackie the only casualty, and they're going to be pretty happy with that exchange. They are behind in the Ubers. NEA is at 75% at the moment. DVS only at 40, but that doesn't mean Toucans give up this point for free. They should be contesting right now, and they are starting to walk forward. Vclox looking to take some space. Dito takes so much damage there. He actually gets forced away. Lipo is the one who's going to try and get some cap time, but Chef is there blocking the point as well. They're all doing their job. They're trying to deny this cap for going down for free. Make them cost some lives at least, but Wasp finally do get it. Have 100% still. That Uber hasn't been forced. And it's going to be down to DVS and his crew to come forward. Oh, the Uber comes in from D-Toad. It's getting launched away by Vclox.
So yeah, DVS looking to come back simply to small to try and build a super up, and then maybe keep the re-push in. Significant lead actually between us right now. It's going to wind down by the time they try to commit to the super. And actually fell behind, but he gets spotted by Mackie and he's going to go down. So the rest of the Toucans looking to group up on this cliff area to try and get an Uber push in. So D-Toad's going to like set up some sticky slip mold on the right side, while Porky tries to take some space on the right side to try and get some sort of sight line onto the medic. He actually sees the head of Dito but doesn't quite hit the shot, so the rest of the Toucans are going to come in on this. Uber's not popped yet on the side of Toucans, so it could be a Q for a force on the side of... actually, 3 players behind now for WASP. Very interesting decision, even the engineers behind, trying to get some sort of purchase behind, and actually get the force onto DVS.
That's actually a really well played there. I mean, Proki did kill Enia there, so they did get a good medic kill. So, oh no, Vettel there, finally getting revenge onto DVS. Takes down the medic. So Toucans there looking to be in a good position, but like you said, that kind of big flank coming in from Wasp in the end has saved them, and they're going to have an Uber advantage now. DVS just spawning, and Enia is already at 25%. Wasp in control of the point. All they need to do is hold for a minute longer, and they will take all of the points in this fixture. As Catman is so far forward, just watching the sidelines. Shaggy starting to maybe get aggressive here. Needs to do. They are still ahead in the time, and winning the cap here would put them on the front foot to winning this round and getting closer. They need to win the round. Remember, Chef clearing away by getting the mini sentry out of the equation. And if Toucans wait for the Uber, it's going to be an all or nothing fight, George. So I think that, yeah, they're going to get some cap time now.
It's a big crucial time right now. Meki taking away most of the attention with the Fist of Steel on the point itself. And actually, Toucans, I think, are going to get this. Like, Wasp are intending to try and cut this out. And eventually, they're going to get this cap. And Wasp, slightly advantage on their side, though. So they might be looking to use that on the Reaper. But they've got to be keeping an eye on the time right now. We're getting into the closing stages of this round. Wasp now stacking on point, still no Uber on the side of Toucans, and actually a lot of players down on the side of Toucans. 3 to 4 players up, they should be looking to back up and probably go save the Uber for this next push.
Yeah, they got the cap, but it cost them too many players to make it really effective to hold. They have bought some time for themselves. There's an extra 10 seconds on the clock, but it doesn't mean there's only 10 seconds left for Wasp. But Ernie has to use his Uber. Great bomb there from Chef. Takes him down to 20 HP. Actually,
no cap time yet.
Use the Uber, yeah. They've got to have somebody to take the Uber off DVS. There we go. Mackie is going to be the one to try and get some cap time. He's looking forward. Vettel gets cleaned up there by Mackie. Lots of players going down for Toucans, so Wasp have to be careful. They've only got 4 up themselves. There's 30 seconds to go for Toucans. They have to hold it on until that time runs out. Otherwise, they are out. Enya takes a massive sticky to the face though. D-Toad takes down DVS with the pipes of his own. These demos are just slaying at the moment. Catman comes in. DQ's in. Oh, wins the MGE on the final point. This is just a slaughter, George.
This is definitely going to go down to overtime, no doubt. It's just going to be a huge fight at this point. Wasp are going to try and stack it. It's just a sniper on the point, and eventually it's going to go in their favour. Wasp take it, the full 6 points, and Toucans ejected.
Wow, I mean, that was probably more like I expected it to be. You know, okay, it was 3-1, but that was so close, round to round. Toucans kind of looked a bit behind with the strats in that first round, but once they picked up the pace, they looked like the team to take on the front foot and actually get something out of this map. But Wasp looking too strong in the end, and just I think individual plays coming out of Wasp. Morg, I think before even looking at the logs, I'm sure he had a good game. But likewise, Proki had a good game as well. They were both getting big picks. The soldiers were just launching in and creating all sorts of havoc. But in the end, Wasp are going to take the full 6 points out of this week 2 fixture. And they're going to be very, very pleased with that. And Toucans probably, I would say, very disappointed. I would have said they would have looked at this game as, you know, the possibility of getting a decent amount of points out of it.
Indeed, and spoiler alert, both snipers did do well indeed. Most Lady Porky, I mean, despite getting 5 less kills than Morg, 13,000 damage alone on sniper, and we're all getting 35 kills as well with 31 headshots. Just both snipers going absolutely mental this map, as you do on Product, I'm sure. And also, once again, the flank classes are coming to fruition. DQZ, again, having a stellar game compared to the last map, getting a full 27 frags alone. I
mean, in the preseason playoffs, he played Pyro and Dima played Soldier, and a lot of people predicted the fact that Dima left the team, you know, to pursue other projects, I guess. And the fact that DQZ was back on Soldier, they thought that was going to be a downgrade with Skettis coming out on Pyro, but DQZ had been holding his own. And in this game, he did pick up a few med frags as well. D-Toad actually getting 4. So, I mean, that's something I always look at as a medic main. Take a look at the medics, and you do see Enya dying 7 times to DVS's 12. But again, like I said on Coalplant, you look at that, and it's very, very easy to point the finger at the medic and say, oh, that medic died more, they're worse, it's their fault. But you have to look at the context. I felt there wasn't very many mistakes coming out of either of the medics. It was just the pressure from the enemy team, and I felt Toucan's aggression, when they were aggressive, it worked. And when they were aggressive and walked across the point, took the space that was available to them, then they were actually winning rounds. They were actually getting into them and making the game close. But in that first round especially, you take a look at Wasp, they just walked over that point for free, and D-Toad was given so much space. And if you allow a demo, especially in this day and age with the Iron Bomber available, especially on this map where the meta is to hold in that pocket as a medic, and he's allowed to get free spam onto your medic, and your medic dies because of it, that's your fault for not contesting that demo walking across the point. So, I mean, looking at this map in the future, they can take a look and just kind of question maybe some of the strats. I felt Toucans, there was a map in it for them here. I felt like this could have been a 3-3. That was my prediction before the game in my head. But in the end, yeah, Wasp pick. I mean, anyone else who stands out for you there, George? Anyone had a big game other than what we talked about already?
Pointed out my man Shaggy at the start for someone to look for, and just about not getting enough damage to beat D-Toad. 14,000 damage overall. I mean, D-Toad with a big round, 600 damage a minute on product, which is absolutely mental. That's like 2 heavies a minute, essentially. So big damage coming out from him. And yeah, just again, the snipers doing absolutely mental work. Huge shots coming out from both of them.
Yeah, I mean, the spies did pretty well. I felt both Psycho and Vettel weren't, they're not top of the leaderboards. They're not picking up all of the huge, kill sprees or anything like that. But they were getting decent med picks. They were focusing the snipers. They were doing the jobs. And even the fact that they were doing their jobs and getting on the snipers as much as they could, both of the snipers were able to just, go on these insane killing sprees anyway. I mean, 472 damage per minute from Morg, 542 from Proki, both of them getting over 30 frags in just 24 minutes. That's pretty nuts. So, I mean, some positives to take from both teams for sure from that game, but that does mean WASP picking up the 6 points. That's going to launch them up into 4th place. I mean, we only are in week 3, so kind of looking at the table shaping up isn't that much to kind of look at the moment. We do have one more game from week 3 to be played. That is Elephant versus Failure Esports. That'll be tomorrow, I believe, and they're the 2 teams currently at the top of the table. But yeah, I mean, any last words, George, before we disappear about what we've seen today?
I think it just sets the precedent for the last few weeks of the season. I mean, the shorter season now, 2 weeks left, it's every game matters now. It doesn't matter. You just have to make every game count with the points on offer to get these playoff spots and to potentially stay alive in Prem as well with the relegation places as well.
Absolutely. I mean, Prem is only 6 teams. It used to be 8 teams. Now it's only 6 teams. Top 3 get playoffs. So, half of the teams will be going to the playoffs to try and win the title, but the bottom 2 get relegated. So, Toucans at the moment with 2 points at the bottom of the table might be feeling a little bit aggrieved and worried about the relegation. But 3rd place, Open Squad, currently has 9 points. So if Toucans have, the final 12 points available, playoffs are still possible for them. And relegation is still possible for some of the teams higher up. So everyone has to be looking over their shoulders and setting their sights for the top. So I'm excited to see how the last couple of weeks shapes up for Highlander. But thanks for casting with me, George. It's been an absolute pleasure. I thought you carried me here tonight.
No problem.
And of course, the Wiethoofd in the background, as always, picking up the big plays on production. Much easier online than it is on land. But this man somehow manages to do it excellently at both venues. Thank you to him. I have been told that there are a couple of games happening tomorrow. We have the UGC Platinum Grand Finals between Elephant and Gimme Opponent, which is kind of also known as Envision in ETF2L, a bit of a mixed team, but I've been doing very well, unbeaten against everyone except for Elephant in the playoffs so far, knocking out the 2nd seed Fiddle Esports and the 3rd seed Failure Esports. So doing well for themselves, hoping to take down the big guns to win the Platinum title. We also have Elephant playing another game tomorrow night, and they'll be playing against Failure Esports on, I believe, CP Steel in the ETF2L Week 3 game, just waiting to be played. And then we'll get a bit of better understanding of how the table looks. That'll be on KritzKast tomorrow. Keep an eye on the Twitter for the updates on what times and who's going to be casting, whose glorious voice you'll be listening to over the course of the game. As always, we have some shout outs to the KritzKast Patreon. Please help our production casters and everyone who does the running of KritzKast behind the scenes. Check out land.teamfortress2.com as well for some merchandise related to the recent Copenhagen Games. Get some tasty Danish-related merch from those guys, and that, of course, helps KritzKast and Essentials as well. But that's enough from me for now. We'll see you tomorrow, hopefully, and have a good evening.